The clock strikes 12, I step into the haze. Whispers call me from 1,000 graves. Shadows dance in corners out of sight. I chase the unknown deep into the night. I hunt the fear you dare not face. In the darkness I embrace the trace. The dead, they speak their secrets shown. Welcome to the bizarre and the unknown. A flicker, a chill, a shadowed hand. The unseen lingers where I stand. Through creaking doors and empty halls, I hear the echoes of forgotten calls. I hunt the fear you dare not face. In the darkness I embrace the trace. The dead, they speak their secrets shown. Welcome to the bizarre and the unknown. And the unknown. Eyes that watch from a place unreal, a touch so cold it makes you feel they're near but hidden, veiled in shade. I walk with ghosts, I'm unafraid. I hunt the fear you dare not face. In the darkness I embrace the trace. The dead, they speak their secrets shown. Welcome to the bizarre and the unknown.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Bizarre and the Unknown. I'm your host, E.D. Testman. We have a special show today. We're going to be talking about the Ozark Mountain Bigfoot. And to help us out, we have special guest, Angie, with What You Doing. Angie, how you doing, sweetie?
Doing great.
That's good. So Angie and I met at the Ozark Mountain Bigfoot Conference, and I got to listen to her stuff. I was like, man, I really like what she's got going on. So I wanted to bring her on the show. So I asked her to come on, and she was gracious enough to bless us with her presence. And so if you wouldn't mind, Angie, kind of tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what you do. And all her links to her stuff are in the description to the show.
Well, perfect. Well, thank you for having me on. This is very exciting. I love to talk all things Bigfoot, so I'm always game for that. So yeah, I'm in Northwest Arkansas, have been most of my life, and I've had a lot of encounters here in Northwest Arkansas. And at the time, I didn't know what was going on. I learned about that later on in my journey with Sasquatch. Once I realized that's what it was. But like I said, I'm Northwest Arkansas. I research here. I am a boots on the ground researcher now. I've been doing that for about a year. But like I said, I've had experiences since I was about 15, 16 years old. So even though I'm kind of new with the actual going out and seeking it out instead of it finding me somehow, I'm very active doing that. I'm currently trying to set up a habituation site. And that's what currently all my videos on YouTube are about, is just that process. Sometimes stuff happens, sometimes it doesn't, but that's just the way Bigfooting goes. So it's a true, honest look into what I'm doing. That's the journey. I'm just bringing everybody on with me just so they can see it.
Heck yeah. Man, I just had something pop up and wouldn't let me get back to my chat. And I was like, daggone it. Hey, Bounty. Um, so I was sitting there giving it looks. I was like, come on, go down so I can get to my chat. Well, that's awesome. You know, so what was your first ever Bigfoot encounter
Well, you know,
or experience?
I don't know my first, because there was kind of a bunch of small things that happened. And it wasn't until much later when I reflected back onto those things. So I don't remember which of those things happened first. But I'll just start off with my sighting, because that was part of that grouping of things that happened. So growing up in a mobile home, we were low income growing up, and lived in a mobile home. All the houses around us were mobile homes. So it was a mobile home park. And behind me was a mountain. It was undeveloped. This was back in the early to mid 80s. Wasn't developed at all. And we were probably, I could walk to the lake in about 5 minutes from where our mobile home was. And so very wildernessy type area back then. It's still kind of that way now. But anyway, one night, like I said, we were low income, and so we didn't really run the air conditioning. So we had our windows open at night in the summer when we were sleeping. And it was the middle of the night, and my stepsister and I were sleeping together, and we were sharing the bed, and she was fast asleep, and she was actually closest to the window. So my bed was here, and the window was like right on the other side. And so I just remember sitting up in the middle of the night, and I turned and I looked at the window. Now, I don't know why. I don't know why I woke up out of a dead sleep. I don't know why I instantly turned to the window. I've always trying to figure that out, but I don't know why. But right there in the window was the shape of a head and two red eyes just looking at me. And they were at the top of the window. And then in the blink of an eye, it was gone. And it was just that fast. And I was like, what was that? And like I said, if anybody is familiar with mobile homes, they're not like, they're not sitting on the ground. They are up on, cinder blocks. And with our particular mobile home, we had to walk up at least 4 steps to a porch and then into the mobile home. And so I'm guesstimating that the top of that window on that mobile home was around 10 feet off the ground after all was said and done, after it was propped up and such. And the head was at the top of the window, and it was just looking at me. Now, I didn't see any features. I just saw the outline of the head and the red eyes, and then it was gone. And that's kind of all I remember from that sighting. I remember waking up the next morning. Like I said, my stepsister never woke up. And the next morning, I was telling her and my mom, I said, hey, something huge that was at the top of our window was looking at me last night. I said, it had red eyes. I said, I couldn't see what it was. All I could see was like part of a head, because it was sideways looking in the window. And when I was telling my mom and my stepsister that, they're like, oh, you were dreaming. Oh, you didn't see nothing. Oh, you're crazy. All the typical answers that you get. And so I just kind of shut it down. I didn't pursue it. I didn't talk about it. But it always bothered me what was something looking at me through the window, especially that big and that tall. I mean, there's nothing that's going to be that tall to be at the top of that mobile home window. And needless to say, very soon after that, Mom put windows and blinds on the window. Thank goodness. And and to this day, when nighttime comes, I have to have all the windows and blinds shut. I cannot have like an open window, like a blind, not an open window, a window that doesn't have a covering at nighttime. I just can't. It traumatized me from such an early age. And like I said, I didn't put that together as Bigfoot or Sasquatch, whatever name you want to give it. I usually call it Sasquatch, but I didn't put two and two together. Um, During that time frame of living in that area, uh, we were down at the lake one day. Like I said, it was like a 5-minute walk from my house, and there was the lake, and then there's like an embankment that goes up to the road, and then on the other side of the road, it was just wilderness that went on for a ways. It wasn't really developed. There might have been one or two houses up there, and then to the right of me at the lake, there was houses. It was very wooded, but it was developed, but it was very wooded. And then that mountain that was behind my mobile home I told you about was right there. So one day we were down at the lake. It was getting towards late afternoon, early evening. It was still totally sunny, it wasn't dark or anything. All of a sudden, little rocks start getting thrown our way. And it was me and a couple of people were down there, and we were yelling up because we couldn't see because there was trees in between. Like I said, there was the lake, then there was trees, and that embankment, then the road, and then mountains and trees. And we were getting rocks thrown at us. And we were saying, hey, knock it off. We're down here. You're going to hit us. And the rocks just kept coming. Now, they weren't being pelted. They were just leisurely being thrown. And they were like little pebbles. And we were like, hey, knock it off. We're down here. And never hurt anybody. Nobody ever said, oh, sorry. Or, nobody was like, other friends, were just messing with us. None of that. So the next day we were telling our friends, hey, that wasn't cool. You're throwing rocks at us. You could have hit us. We didn't like that, blah, blah, blah. The type of talk that teenagers do to each other. And they were like, what are you talking about? We weren't over there. We weren't throwing rocks at you guys. We're like, oh, cut it out. Yeah, you were. Of course it was you. Who else would be throwing rocks at us? And they're like, it wasn't us. And they just swore up and down it was not them. So then fast forward, while living at that mobile home, inside, I could always hear footsteps from that mountain, like something was coming down the mountain. And I would look out my window and I would never see anything. And I would ask my mom and I'd ask my stepdad, do y'all hear that walking? I can hear steps outside. I'm like, who could be walking up and down that mountain? I'm like, no, there's nothing up there. And they were like, oh, I don't know. We don't know. That's weird. But like I said, I was inside the house and I could hear footsteps. Now, you go outside your house right now and you walk by a window or something, nobody inside is going to hear it. You just don't hear just normal human footprints or footsteps when you're inside of a house. But I was inside the house and I could clearly hear something walking and I could never see what it was. And so we always just called it the old man of the mountain. Whenever I would hear that, I'm like, oh, there's that old man of the mountain up there walking. And that was kind of our inside joke, but I didn't realize what everything was. And like I said, after I had some other encounters on down the road, I'm like, you know what? I have got to learn what's going on. And when I started watching documentaries and talking with people who know about stuff, then I started learning the behaviors of Sasquatch, throwing rocks, peeking in at windows, heavy footsteps. And then it all came together. I was like, holy cannoli, that's what was going on all this time. And I never had a clue. So that was my first introduction over those years to Sasquatch. But like I said, I was ignorant to it.
Yeah. Well, and that's like mine. I was, playing hide and go seek. I was 12 years old. I was playing hide and go seek with my brothers. It was always me and my half brother, and then mom got remarried, and so it was me and half brother and two step brothers.
Yeah.
And we were up there at great grandpa's property up in St. Joe, and grandpa warned us, and boy, stay out of them woods. Momo's been spotted.
Oh.
I always thought, oh yeah, grandpa's yarning us. He's pulling our leg. Grandpa being grandpa.
Yeah.
Well, we're out there, and I ran up that cow field. that ran next to the fence. It's in the woods, but it's next to the fence next to my uncle's house. I ran up it, made a big loop around because I think my little brother Jeremy was it at the time. And I came back through about 2 minutes later, and there was a massive footprint right where I'd just been like 2 minutes before, and it wasn't there.
Oh my
Man,
word.
I hauled ass back to Grandpa's house. I was like, Grandpa, you weren't lying. He goes, no, boy, I ain't gonna lie to you. I told you it's been out there. That was my first one.
Nice.
That was a shocker.
It was a
Because
shocker.
Grandpa liked, yeah, Grandpa liked to pull a leg or two. That's just how Grandpa was.
Oh, sure.
He was a great man. I mean, fabulous man. He's one of the reasons why I went into the Marine Corps. Great grandpa was Army Corps engineer and or Army Air Corps, and I was always told him, I said, "Well, I'm going to go in the Air Force, Grandpa. I'm going to be around the planes like you." He goes, "Boy," he goes, "I know you too well. Says you need to be a Marine." He goes, "You want to
Oh,
be the best of the best." It's like, okay, Grandpa, and I did, man. When I got old enough, I went to the Corps.
nice.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I miss that man greatly, but missing the stories about him, about him and his parents and his siblings hiding Jesse James and the James gang on the farm down in Pineville,
Oh my
hiding
word.
him out in Testament's Cave. Yeah.
That's
So
cool.
I missed that stuff. Yeah. But then when we moved down here, 33 years. Yeah, I've been here. I've been on this land 33 years now.
Wow.
Well, no, it'd be a little over 33 because I was 12. No, it was. I was 13. So, yeah, 33 years I've been on this land now. And I remember working farms with the old timers. I was always mucking stalls or bucking hay or whatever it is, just kind of earn a dollar or two back then.
Sure.
And I remember the old men talking about these boogers. Man, I saw a booger the other day. I'm like, what the hell you talk about a booger? I was like, they just snot it out on the ground and go. Why are we talking about boogers?
Right? Y'all are
And
gross.
they get to laughing and they're carrying on and oh man, these daggone boogers better watch and I want to shoot a booger at you. You know how the old timers were. And
Yep.
finally they told me, he goes, nah, son, a booger is a Bigfoot. I went, oh, Momo. So that's when I learned the term of booger. I
Booger.
was like 13, 14 years old, working the farms with them old timers.
Wow.
Um,
Yeah, I'm a child of the
uh,
70s. So, watching Scooby Doo and the Million Dollar Man, it was always Bigfoot. So I've always known it as Bigfoot.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get caught up on some comments here. Okay, make sure I ain't missing any. I try to catch people's comments as I can. Um, but yes, I mean it's been a lot of fun, and and I've been around this world. I remember the first time I had a Yowie experience. I was in Shellwater Bay training area over in Australia,
Yeah.
and there's this old house out there, and the Aussies army cats was like, yeah, dude, that family used to live there, got massacred by the Aborigines years ago, and he goes, yeah, that place is, we don't go in there. Well, me being me, I'm like, okay, I'll do it. So I'm 21-year-old Marine. I'm stepping foot on there, and as soon as my foot hit that first step, all I heard was a. I was like, oh shit.
Oh
And the
my.
Aussie guys are like, dude, get back, get back, get back. I was like, what's up? He goes, that's a Yowie. You don't want to mess with the Yowie. I'm like, what the hell's a Yowie? It's like, you Americans call him Bigfoot. It's a Bigfoot. It's a Yowie. I was like, oh crap. Okay, yep. I am not prepared for that.
Wow.
So, yeah, that was fun times.
That's so crazy. Yeah, I didn't know of the
Dude,
term like Yowie or,
no.
all those other ones. I knew Yeti because, Scooby
Mm.
Doo. I think there was a couple episodes where he fought the abominable snowman.
Yeah.
But
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So like I said, my only terminology that I knew was either Bigfoot or Yeti. And at the time, I didn't realize that they were the same thing. Maybe a few differences, maybe.
Mhm.
But
Not
yeah.
much.
So, through growing up and like I said, having experiences later on, and when I started diving into what in the heck is going on, that's when I started learning all the different names and and all that stuff. And yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, you got skunk ape, you got hairy man, you got the Ohio grass. I mean, the names go on and on and on.
They do.
A lot of native culture, especially Lakota. It's Siai Tonka. So I mean, you got all these different names of these things. And it's amazing. It really
It really
is.
is.
Of course, I growing up, when you was talking about Yeti, I was kind of laughing because I was at the typical Hollywood Yeti. Oh, it's a white thing. It's a white Bigfoot.
Yeah. And there's
That's
only
not
one of
true.
them.
Not true at all. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, has there been reports of what I call a silverback type Bigfoot? Yeah. They're completely great. I think that's the old timers.
It could
I
be.
think as
Yeah.
the ones that's old, they seem to be very grumpy.
I get
And
it.
have you, yeah. So, on the, so I've searched for Bigfoot all over the Ozarks and other spots. And, Ozark Mountains are the oldest mountains in the world. They're just really, really eroded down, in which Arkansas is probably the least amount eroded as it is up here in the Missouri part. And they
Okay.
used to be attached to the Appalachians at one point in time. But the Ozark Mountains is the oldest mountain ranges around.
I didn't realize that.
And,
Wow.
yeah, that's why a lot of Fae is very popular here in the Ozarks, is because Fae is popular with the Appalachian. The Appalachian used to be a part of the Ozark Mountain Range.
Didn't realize that. Very
Yeah.
cool.
So, look at your Wampus cat. That's another one. That's known for the Appalachia area. Well, it's very well known for around here, too.
What'd you call it? A Wampus cat?
Wampus cat, yeah. It's
And what
like
is that?
it's a cougar on steroids with 6 legs,
Oh,
basically. So that's the down and dirty part of it. Then
well,
you
I
got
hope
the
I've never
Ozark
seen that.
Howler, which there's versions. Yeah, there's versions of the Ozark Howler even in the Appalachians.
Interesting. I mean, yeah, we're like right next to them. If you go to eastern Arkansas, the Appalachians are just like right over there in Tennessee. So yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, a lot of that stuff's around here, and so being in the woods, because I love the woods. The
Me
woods
too.
is my favorite place. I was in the woods Saturday when I was talking to you about it, when I came across that stuff I found. Well, I just left the woods again. I just left Joe Ball. So I mean, I love being in the woods, and
Yep.
I've seen a lot of stuff, man. I have seen everything from the cryptid to the paranormal to the supernatural. I mean, I've seen it all out in these woods. I love it. Um,
Wow.
Yeah, there's been a couple recent ones not far from where I was at today, Roxanne. Here within like a month or two ago, there's been a couple Ozark Howler. We'll talk a little bit on DA's show Saturday, but I was kind of talking to him. I was like, man, I said, this we need to come here. I'm feeling a really strong presence this area. He goes, oh yeah, there was just a couple months ago, there's some Ozark Howler sightings here. I was like, hey, well, that explains it. But we'll talk a little bit about that on Saturday. I'll be on with DA Saturday evening over this Joe Ball deal. I literally just walked in the door from.
That would be a good time.
Oh yeah, so I mean, I go out looking for all that time. I love all that stuff. I just got an update, guys. I forgot to tell you. I haven't had a chance to find the full update on the Shade Beaver Bar and Grill investigation that DA was with me on, that paranormal investigation. As soon as he gets done eating dinner, he's going to let me know. But if you recall during that video, the ghosts were talking about a hag quite often. Well, I have an update coming here really soon about what they think they were talking about when it said the hag. Which, if you don't know what a hag is another word for basically like a witch, an old, ugly person. That's a witch. Hag.
Really? So when you call somebody an old hag, you're calling them a witch? I didn't realize.
Yeah, an old, ugly witch is what you're calling them. That's what a hag is.
Nice.
So as soon as I get that, the final confirmation, I was in the woods when he messaged me, so I didn't answer my phone. And when I had a chance to call him, he was eating dinner with his family. So As soon as I get an update, I will have an update on what would it could be those ghosts we're talking about when they kept saying hag on that video. Just to give you
Wow.
guys a heads up. It's been
Very
a
cool.
eventful day. It's been a very eventful day. So when I'm looking for cryptids, Bigfoot, Dogman, whatever it is here in my part of the Ozarks,
Yeah.
some things I look for, and I don't know if this is true in your area. I mean, I agree with you. You got bamboo there, which I can
Yeah.
see them using bamboo. That's bamboo.
Yeah.
Um, I can see them using that for stuff because bamboo has a lot of stuff um, that it could be used for. And I can see them actually using that as a fiber source too, if they need more fiber.
Sure.
For us, we have a lot of that stuff around here. We got the mushrooms, we got the berries, cedar trees. Now, cedar strippings I really like, especially if it's over 6 foot and above. I
Yeah.
really like cedar strippings because cedar. Hey, Corey, cedar bark has a lot of medicinal purposes, and that is one of the most common things here on my land alone is where some of my heaviest traffic is for Bigfoot is around my cedar trees.
Around the cedar.
And you'll see them stripped. Yeah, you'll see them stripped up. I mean, I've had them stripped up 20 foot up in the air, just bark
Wow.
stripped off a cedar tree. So is
Wow.
that something you kind of noticed? Do you notice anything like that, or have you never really thought about that in your area?
Well, in my area, I'm just trying to take a mental picture. I'm kind of like scanning around. I've never really noticed it with the cedar. Now there is a type of bark out there. I am keeping an eye on a couple trees because it looks like, and I don't know what type of tree it is, but it looks like they are picking off the bark. It looks
Mm-hmm.
like, and you can see all around the base of the tree. It's like little tidbits of bark is just laying all around, like something's just taking its fingernail and just popping it off. Um, I've noticed that on one of my trees. Actually, there's two trees that are like that, but I haven't noticed it on the cedars. But now that you say it, I'll make a better. I'll look for that. Yeah.
Another thing too that I've noticed, these things like termites, and I've noticed like an old tree,
Yeah.
um, if it's got a lot of termite infestation, if you see something, once again, it's that 6 foot or above mark.
Yeah.
You see bark peeled away where there's and you'll look what sometimes you'll see what looks like fingers have been digging in that bark, getting that termite. Sometimes it's claws. Have you
Okay.
noticed that in your part of the area?
Um, like I said, I haven't noticed. I was kind of looking at that tree I was just talking to you about that looked like they were flicking off the bark, but I didn't
Mhm.
see any scratches or anything like that. It was like the bark was just gone. It's all just piled around the bottom of the tree. I haven't seen scratches, but like I said, I'll keep an eye out for that, and I'll get back to
Yeah.
you if I see that. But I do
Yeah,
see,
I've noticed that in my area.
obviously with trees that are already fallen, I have seen them, kind of ripped apart a little bit, but I don't know if that's Sasquatch or if that's any other animals like an armadillo or
Right.
raccoons or squirrels. I can't quite tell what would have done that. Um, but I will look up at higher and see if I see anything. But nothing is coming to mind
Heck
right
yeah.
now in my area.
Hmm. What the hell you popping up now? Hey, Roger. Yeah, they'll go after them dead trees like that. The only time I get excited with like today we found a dead tree. Obviously, it was well worked and stepped on.
Okay.
Generally, that's not going to be a deer or anything. I mean, this was a very large area. The whole section of a tree was completely smashed down.
Wow.
That will raise an eyebrow up for me. But really,
Sure.
what gets me happy on fallen trees is when you find footprints next to them. So I'm a believer they're getting in there and getting them insects and them termites and them grubs and the mushrooms and all that grows into them. It's a whole ecosystem. People don't realize there's so many things that break down a tree whenever it comes down. It's not just one thing; it's multiple things. Then you got coons, you got porcupines, you got armadillos, you got all other woodpeckers and all these other stuff that come in there and do it in eating on that stuff or digging into it. So I mean, there's a variety of different things that's going to mess with the down tree. But if I see one kind of like today, I'm going to raise an eyebrow. But when I really get excited is if I see that and I can see a footprint.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that's got my interest right there.
That's cool then. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's because it's common. I mean, even during brink horse survival, I've tore apart old trees to get to insects and other stuff to eat. When you ain't got nothing to eat, you go through it. I mean, grubs.
Yeah.
Grubs are the same thing. I mean, they're juicy and they pop like popcorn and you bite into them, but there's a lot of protein in one of them little grubs.
I'm sure they can have them. But yeah, I see, because my spot where I'm trying to establish my habituation spot is up on top of a mountain, on top of a hill. So I have to climb that every time I go out there, and I do my setups. But I do walk the whole area, and it is next to a river. And so many times I find sticks just sticking straight out of the bank. And then I can see where something's been scraping the riverbank, trying to dig for worms, grubs, and all that type of stuff. Yeah.
And it's common. Like I think it was Shane at the conference was showing these little sticks and the holes all over the place.
Yeah.
I was like, not only could they be looking for insects, but they could be looking for what some people call them mud bugs. You can also call them crawdads, crawfish. They will live in muddy areas that's not close to water. I've found them way out in the middle of a cow field and not close to water. It's a muddy spot. You'll find a crawfish there.
Interesting.
So, and that's what I kind of posed to him. I was like, have you ever thought that they could be going after the mud bugs?
Yeah.
So that's actually how they got that name. They got that name because they're found in like fields that's got mud.
Yeah. I know at the top of my hill, where my habituation site is, I do find holes, but they're different than what Shane described because I never find a stick in them. I always purposely look for that, but they're always they're kind of narrowish, but they're deep. And, for the longest time, I'm thinking, is that an armadillo that's in there rooting? I'm like, do they go that deep? I mean, it just seems deeper than what I would think, wildlife would go, but maybe they were onto something. Maybe they just kept digging. I don't know, but meaning like an armadillo or something. But I do find several holes, like deep holes up there that are semi-small. And it would be exactly what Shane's explaining, except it doesn't have the stick. So I can't say that they're doing it, but something's up there digging holes. And I'm keeping an eye on it.
I'm not one of the
Yeah.
I'm not one that will classify Bigfoot as a primate. Although technically we are. We're primates. And I think we're along the same genus as them. But I don't classify it. But they have, bull crawdads. Heck yeah, Roger. Ain't nothing like good crawfish with some garlic butter. I'm eating right there. I got sidetracked. But you'll watch the primates and the apes, and they all use like sticks to pull out insects, and they'll teach little kids to do that.
Yeah.
Our ancestors have been known to do that, so I can see Bigfoot doing the same thing.
Yeah, it's kind of a no-brainer. It makes perfect sense, especially if you have hands and thumbs.
Exactly.
Of course, you're going to get in there and start digging. How easy is that?
Well, I mean, there's so much food potential. We just go because we're used to wherever we can get out of the store now. But there's so much food potential out in them woods. They're going to use whatever technique is available to get them out.
Oh,
and natives will tell you that we learn from them and they learn from us. So, I mean, if we was doing that, they would do it. Or if they was doing it, we'd learn from them. Either way, man, they're going to use techniques they learned or they've taught,
Yeah. 100%.
Okay, I thought I missed a comment there for a second.
I'll have to to read them.
What kind of? I know you sent me a couple pictures that was really cool. I gotta get it set up. I couldn't download them. I try or get them downloaded to the stream deal, which is fine. This usually works better doing it this way with photos, anyways.
Yeah.
So let me get up here and screen. I'm getting set up so I can screenshot.
Do you want me to kind of tell the story of how those pictures came to be?
Yeah. I'll get them popped up, and each time we pop them up, you can tell us what the whole. Okay, should be getting ready to pop up. There we go. All right. Yep.
All right. So that one. All right. So I was at my spot. This is right across the road from my spot. It's kind of at the end of a peninsula. And I was there. I was trying to look for any type of Sasquatch evidence. I was looking for a site. And I had it was just a scouting time that I was there. And I found it just because, I was kind of going off of their habitat. They need water, they need cover, blah, blah, blah. And so I was looking around on maps and kind of how I know of the area. I'm like, well, I'm gonna go down and check out this area and see if I can see anything. So I get there and I instantly hear a knock when I got out of my car. And I was just like, no, maybe that was something else. Maybe, timing, maybe something fell somewhere when I was just getting out of the car. I kind of wrote that first tree knock off. And then I had walked around to the trunk of my car to get my backpack out with all my stuff that I was going to carry around. And I heard another one from the opposite direction. And I was like, wait a minute. And then as I was putting my backpack on and shutting my trunk, I started walking to a gate that I was parked next to. And then a third tree knock came from behind me. So I had a tree knock from all three sides of me. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, they are here. And so I went through the gate and I started heading to a certain area that I saw was kind of it was just dirt ground. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna go over here and see if I can find any footprints. So I'm walking over this way. Now, just past that, there was a big pile of debris that was just over there. And I was walking in that direction, like I said, going to go look at the dirt, see if I could see any footprints. All of a sudden, in super fast succession, bam, bam, bam. And I instantly just stopped. And I was like, oh, I'm going someplace that they don't want me to go. And so I was like, I'm sorry. And I just started speaking out, out loud, because there was nobody there. I was the only person there. This area was shut down for the winter. There was nobody there. And I was like, okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to go this way, not knowing why they were trying to reroute me. But I'm assuming something was over there behind those that pile of debris that they didn't want me to find. Maybe one was over there. I don't know. So needless to say, I started going the opposite direction. And so now I get to where this campground down below is the river. So the campground is up above. And I looked over the edge and I said, okay, cool. That area is sandy. Because if you guys don't know anything about Arkansas, or even if you do, we're very rocky. It's kind of hard to find dirt or sand, especially around water. And so I looked to make it sure it was worth my while to go down this embankment to look for footprints. And so I saw that it was sandy down there. And so I just made my way down to the river. And I wasn't filming, but I had my phone in my hand on my selfie stick. Just in case I did see something, I would start filming it. So as I'm walking, I'm looking, the river is to my left, and it's deep and it's flowing fast and it's cold. To my right is this huge embankment that's impossible to scramble up. And so I'm walking in between this little area, and I can see I'm getting to a dead end. And so I look up and there's all this bamboo. And I kind of tilt my head and there's a den. There was a den that was woven out of bamboo that like one thing could sit in. You could tell if it was small enough, it could sit in there. And there were bones, not only inside the den, but kind of just outside of it and kind of hanging down a little bit. And I saw that. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just found a den with bones. So I turned on my phone and I started leaning in to record that. And as I'm kind of just starting to talk about, hey, here's some bones, here's a den, I hear behind me. I'm like, what is that? And I turn, and like I said, I have this video on YouTube. I think it's called What Did Sasquatch or What Did Bigfoot Throw at Me? And I turn, and as I turn, I see this branch. It was over 6 feet tall. Now, mind you, I'm at river level. This branch was up over the tops of the trees. And as it was going over the tops of the trees, it was hitting the trees. And that was that that I was hearing. And then it cleared the last tree and it came down and it splashed into the water, like a huge splash into the water. And I was like, I think we got to go. I'm like, something just got thrown. At this point, I'm terrified. I'm in shock. I'm a little bit confused because, I just had 3 tree knocks happen. And now all of a sudden, this monster branch gets thrown over the tops. These trees had to be at least 30 feet high. These things were high. They're like I think they're like sycamore trees or something. They grow super, super high. And it was over the tops of those. Mm-hmm. And I'm the only one there. So I'm like, oh my gosh, what just threw that? And in my head, I knew what threw it. And even though I didn't see it. So I turn around and there's only one way for me to go. I can't go to my right because, like I said, now there's the river that's right there. Can't go into the river. Behind me it's dead end. To my left, like I said, it's a huge embankment that I cannot climb up. So I have to go back the way I came. And the way I came is where the branch was thrown. So I'm like, I'm going to run into whatever just threw this branch. And I'm here by myself. I'm not armed. I may sit and duck. And I only have one option. The only option I have is to go back the way I came. So I got my phone and I'm like, I don't care what I'm filming. I'm just going to film just in case anything is to happen, whether the thing gets aggressive with me, whether it attacks me, whether it does something else. I don't know, but I'm just going to keep my phone running. So for whatever happens. And so as I'm walking that way, I'm talking out loud, which I feel foolish, but that's what I'm doing. I'm sorry. I didn't know your food was here. I'll leave, but I have to come back the way I came down. I said, you're going to have to move. In hindsight, me telling a Bigfoot to move is kind of funny, but that's what I was doing. And so I'm just talking, saying, I'm leaving, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to move. I have to go up this way. And as I'm walking and talking, I'm just filming. And like I said, I'm not paying attention to anything. I'm kind of in a rattled state. So anyways, I get to the top and there's a picnic table there. Now, before I go into any more, which will explain the pictures, the reason why I didn't just hightail it out of there, because a lot of people ask me, why didn't you leave? This is why I didn't leave. I had just gotten back from Yakima, Washington, where I went to a Bigfoot conference. And at that Bigfoot conference, they were talking about how sometimes Bigfoot will test you to see if you're, for lack of a better word, worthy of them interacting with. Because if you're going to freak out, you might be harmful to them. Well, they don't want somebody who's going to be harmful to them to interact with. So out in Yakima, they were talking about, don't show fear. And so that was fresh in my head. So in my head is, I'm not going to show fear, even though I'm petrified, I'm not going to show fear. So I get to the top of the, back up to the top. I'm trying to be cool. And I'm pacing around this picnic table that's at the top of this area, trying to figure out what I'm going to do, but also showing them that I'm not running away, that I'm not scared, even though I was. And so after I'm walking around for a little bit, I get calmed down in my head. I'm like, okay, I've been here long enough. I didn't run away. So in their minds, I'm not scared. So I'm just going to get in my car and go and leave. Now, I'm going to pause it right there so I can explain the pictures. As I was walking up, I was, like I said, I was just filming. When I got home, I was going through that footage, and that's when I captured the 2 images you're going to show. So the one that you just showed was actually the second image. Was by the time I got back. Yeah, that's the one that's that I'm looking up, and it's kind of overlooking the bank. That was the first one. So there'll be a picture that he'll show you, and you can see the outline of its head and like an arm, and it's looking over the riverbank down to where I was at the river. And like I said, I didn't see it at the time when I was there because I was really caught up in the moment. I wasn't even looking up. I was looking forward so I could follow my trail back out. So the one that's at the very top, yeah, that one. That one, when it zoomed in, you can see an outline of a head and maybe a little bit of shoulders and like an arm as it's like watching me. And then when I got to the top, right where he is, right behind him is a picnic table. And that's the picnic table I was walking around trying to figure out what I was going to do. And it had moved as I was walking up. Apparently it had moved to a bush that was right next to the picnic table that I had no idea it was there. I kept walking past this thing and I didn't even know it was there. It wasn't until I went back and scrubbed the footage, looking at it close, that I saw its outline. And I was like, holy cannoli, it was right there. And yet it did nothing. But I was petrified. I was petrified beyond all belief. Like I said, they're alone, no protection. And, you know, I had this hostile encounter. Something was thrown my direction. Now he didn't throw it. I say he, I don't know if it was a male or female. It was thrown my direction. It wasn't thrown like at me. It was thrown in my direction enough where it would scare me to leave because I had discovered its den and its food. And it was a complete 100% accident. I had no idea. I just stumbled upon it. And now that's my research site because they're there. So there you can see an outline of a head and a little bit of a body. And like I said, some pictures I have of it circled and some of them I don't. That way, because some people can see things and other people can't. So I've circled it so it would help you see it better. But you could see it without the circle. And like I said, the one that's closer in, yeah, there he is. There's his head, and you can see a little bit of shoulder, and you can see like an arm kind of going down a little bit at an angle. And so it was really funny because after I did that, I got in my car, and still in my head, it was like, don't run, don't show them you're scared. So I drove down to the next pull off, and I pulled in there. I'm like, yeah, and there's him squatting down, watching me walk around the table, and I had no idea he was there. So there you can see his head, you can see a little bit of his shoulders. If you, I can't see, I don't have my glasses on, but you can see he's on one leg. He's kneeling on one leg. His arm is going across his leg that he's kneeling on, and his other leg is behind him, and he's leaned in watching him. You can see a brow ridge. You can see the top of his head. And like I said, I had no idea that I was standing right next to him. No smell, no odor. A lot of people ask me that. No, there was no odor. I have never smelt a Sasquatch, and I've been sort of close to them accidentally a couple times, and I've never smelt it. So I'm kind of the impression that they're like a skunk, that they can release that smell at will. That's just kind of my theory, but I've never smelt it. So anyways, I drove down the road just a tiny bit to the next little pullout, because there's a couple pullouts on that street that you can access the river at. And I pulled into one of these pullouts, and I'm like, I'm gonna go to the river and look for more footprints. I thought I was far enough away that I was out of their area that they wouldn't mess with me. Newbie. And so I get out of the car, and I'm like, okay. This time I was like, I'm not going to surprise them like I did the last time by like walking certain areas. I'm going to speak it out loud. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to head over to the river. And as I'm sitting here talking, I hear a, huh. And as I was talking out loud, I'm like, no, I didn't just hear that. I didn't just hear that. And so I keep talking. I'm like, okay, I thought I heard something. I'm like, well, are you trying to say something to me? And then right after I said that, huh. And I'm like, alrighty, I am not going to the river. I'm getting out of Dodge. And so I'm like, well, you know what? It's getting late. I'm going to go, but you know, I'll come back another day. And I get in the car. I'm out. I'm gone. And I leave. And that's that whole scenario that happened, where I got those pictures. And that's how I learned that they were there. And that's when I decided, well, I found my research spot. And I've been there ever since.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you was talking about sign, or like I can show you one of the images. This is going to be a thermal hit I caught. This is probably 20 feet away from me. Me and my youngest daughter had gotten home, was hearing several things kind of large going in the woods next to my drive. Same spot that many times I've heard the whoop, whoop, woo come from. Same location. I was thinking about this the other day. I
Yeah.
forgot a few days before I took this thermal, I was freaking out because I could have swore I seen one run through the woods in
Oh,
this same location. And this is that thermal. You'll hear some goats because, yeah, my youngest daughter and her mom thought it'd be fun. Now, if you see there, he was kind of partially out behind that tree, and he goes back in. And as I start to pan out, he comes back out again.
that is so
And
cool.
this was all in that same, and that was actually that same location. I tell you, that I find a lot of prints going to my cedar trees.
Yeah.
Same spot. That's that exact same spot.
I heard, yeah, I heard that they love cedar, and that was one of the things I was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Now, where I go isn't heavily cedared; it's mostly oaks and different, stuff. But we do have some out there, and that's why, like I said
Yeah.
before, I haven't really noticed the cedar situation. But I'm going to start looking closer at it and see if I see what you're seeing.
I give you a rough idea here. Let me get into my pictures and trying to remember where I got them stored at here. Where do I got it stored? I got so many freaking files and
Yeah, I'm just waiting to
pictures.
get a bunch myself.
Might be in this one. Okay, nope, those are all videos, so it's not that one. Wood pics, maybe. That is all the deer.
Well, while you're finding that, I can show everybody a cast I took from out there.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of, I just seen some. Oh. So, okay, cool. Something before I forget and I lose this because I, for some reason, this wasn't in a file.
Okay.
Something I wonder if you see out there. This is a hunting blind that was
Okay.
behind, literally right on the behind my house here, and screen share, entire screen, that one there. This was actually documented in that Bigfoot documentary I was in. Have you seen stuff like that out there?
Not like that one. No.
Okay, that's what we believe is a hunting blind.
Yeah.
To the on this side over here is where my house is. It's hard to see, but there's a deer trail right in here.
Okay.
There's a deer trail.
Okay.
This is the opening of it facing that deer trail.
Gotcha. Interesting.
I didn't know if that was some stuff you've seen, but yeah, I'll let you show your castings while I'm looking for this.
Okay.
Figure out where the heck I put it at.
So that whole river situation, that tree branch that got thrown in my direction, it happened in November. Well, a month or two later, it snowed. And so I told my husband, I'm like, I want to go back out there because I was kind of scared to go out there after that. I didn't know if I wanted to encounter that again. And so I kind of stayed away for a couple months. And I said, you know what? I want to go out there and see if there's any footprints. So we go out there, and of course, we're the only people. We're the only ones like making tire marks driving out there. I said nobody was out there. We get there, we park, we go around the gate that's locked, and I start seeing them. Now it's funny because I had never cast anything up until that point. So my first cast is going to be in the snow, and it's not beautiful. There's a little bit of a problem with it. Actually, there's two problems with it. I didn't get all the materials stirred up real well, so I have two big clumps. But I will show you where the clumps are. You'll be able to see it. But I was able to get the cast And there was a whole bunch of them out there, but I only had enough casting material for one. So here is the cast. Let me see if I can get it in. So I say, let me go this way. So here's
Yep, I can see the toes.
Here's one of the clumps. Let me go the other direction. And here's the other clump. So ignore those two things. And here is the print. Like I said, I did it from the snow, so it's not perfect. And like I said, it's my first one. But it's 12 inches long and 5 inches wide. And so that's the print I got. And so between the branch being thrown and getting footprints, and like I said, and seeing tree stuff, I'm like, yeah, they're here. And so that's why I made it my research spot. And as you're looking for that, you were asking about if the clan that I'm interacting with or trying to interact with out there are making those types of structures. They're not. This clan seems to be more into just breaking the trees. There's so many tree breaks out there. That seems to be the biggest thing that they're doing. They also like to bend the trees and stick them in the ground, or take another tree or another huge branch and lay them on top to hold it down. They're more into that. I haven't really seen any tree structures out there. I've seen them other places, but not there.
This is taking longer than I thought. I know I'd moved everything to my external hard drive. I thought I had them all in this one file, and I'm not seeing them.
Oh, no
so
problem.
I may just have to. Maybe.
Wasn't if you want. I got 2 other footprints I can show while you're looking. Snow.
Yeah, you can go.
Okay. So I was down.
You can show them. Yeah, I love looking at that stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, I was down in Falk this April for a Bigfoot conference. And of course, while you're there, you got to go Bigfooting in Falk of all places. I mean, hello. I think everybody knows about the Fountain Monster. So we got an inside tip of where to go. And we went there. And sure enough, we found footprints. So one of them I found was from a little baby. This one is only 6 inches long and 3 inches wide.
I remember you casting that.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a video on that as well. And then I got the Big Daddy here. And once again, this one's wonky, but it's not my fault. So I'll explain why I say it's wonky.
It's not your fault.
Yeah, it's my fault. It's the Bigfoot's fault. All right. So here is the Big Daddy. This is, this one's 18 inches. There we go. It's 18 inches long and it's 8 inches. Here we go. Wide from the toes across. This section right here, technically, hold on. I'm all backwards here. I'm not good at doing this backwards. Here we go. All righty. So where I have my arm covering, it looks like I'm going the wrong way again. It looks like I messed up, but technically I didn't. You see this big O spot right here? There was a ginormous rock when I cast it.
Yeah.
But I think
you had 2 rocks in there.
Yep. Yeah. There's one right there too. I have a feeling that when the Sasquatch stepped down and its heel hit that rock, I think it went, no, it may not have gone, like we do, but I think it made its foot go, type of thing. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what this is. Its foot went sideways and made another indentation in the ground after it stepped on this big old rock. Because when I made the print, the rock came up with it. And I at the time I didn't think about it. I just took it and I threw it away. But yeah, I got this one down in Falk.
Heck yeah, that's a nice print. That's a nice print.
It's a good one.
Aurora, what's the matter, honey?
It still drops debris all over.
What's the matter, baby?
But yeah, there's that. You're right. I did shoot a video on that about something about Falks. If you guys go to my YouTube page, you can see me not only casting them, but then taking them up afterwards.
Mhm. Yeah, use cooking spray. Don't spray the cooking spray directly on the print. Shoot it
Okay.
up in the air and let kind of float down on it, and that'll help you pull your print up a lot easier.
Oh, that's good to know. Somebody had said to use hairspray, that will help set the
Yeah.
soil, and that way it comes up better. So I'll remember.
Hmm.
But I do have not cooking spray. I have hairspray in my pack now, but I'll have to go get some cooking spray too.
Yep. So you see where that's stripped up? This is 20
Oh yeah.
foot off the ground. See how it's
Hopefully
stripped up there? You can see the strips.
I do.
So that's on that cedar tree. That stuff, if it's below 6 foot, it could be a porcupine and it could be a deer.
Okay.
But this is 20 foot up. So if I'm seeing anything from the 6 foot up mark, I get excited. So this is what you want to look for when you're looking for them stripping the cedar bark. And like I said, you can see it right here,
Yeah.
the strips of the cedar bark.
So what's your theory why they do that?
Medicine.
Interesting. Because when I was out in the
Yeah,
Pacific
medicine,
Northwest
100%.
last year, I saw several trees. Now, I also was told that the Native Americans will strip the bark and they make stuff out of it. So I'm not quite sure what I was seeing, but I did see long strips like that off the trees, off the some of the trees out
Yep.
there as well.
Yep, natural antibiotics. Correct, Corey. Yeah, humans can do it too. You can also boil the bark, or you can boil the greens off of the pine. Works better for making a tea out of, but you can do it with a cedar as well.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah. So thank you, baby kitty. That was claws. I appreciate the claws in me.
Oh no.
I thought it was a roar and ended up being baby kitty. So, we get talking about vocals,
Yeah.
and this is kind of some stuff I've caught. Now, this one's a little distance. It's a roar.
Oh.
Here we go. We'll see if this is oh shit, that was the wrong. That one
So I didn't
wasn't the
hear
one I
anything.
thought it was. It's that one wasn't the cleaned up one. So we'll just do the
Yeah.
kind of hear it there. Whoop, woo,
Yep.
and then
I think I might have, now that you're playing those and then you've been like mimicking that, I might have heard that once out at my site. I was thinking it was a bird, and I know they can mimic stuff. And I'm always confused on, well, is that the real thing or is that the fake thing? But that whoop woo thing, I swear I've heard that out there and I just dismissed it.
Mhm.
I'm gonna have to pay attention more so to that.
Yeah, that's actually a very common one. They do is that most common I hear out here is a whoop 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 woo, or I hear a whoop woo whoop whoop, and those are usually when they're whooping. That's about the three common ones I get out here.
Mm-hmm.
But I get a lot of other stuff like. Let's see if this one play right. I downloaded that wrong one on that roar. And that one, when it's cleaned up, you hear it go. Just like
Kind of
that when it's cleaned up.
like the Ohio howl, but much on a lower thing. Yeah.
More of a roar side of
Yeah.
it, yes.
Yeah. Kind of a low key
This one's
one.
murmurs, and you can hear him walking around on my porch.
Wow.
But you can faintly hear it. What? It kind of sounds something very similar to that, like they're trying to speak, but it's hard to pick up. And you'll hear them banging around. Before that
Yeah.
was captured, you heard them running up the ladder that was going to the roof of my porch. I was pulling old satellite dishes off my porch, and I left my ladder out. And when I
Oh,
captured these vocals, you hear them run up that ladder.
that is awesome.
Then you got stuff. This is one of my favorite. Oh my God, this was these next three. I was in tears. I was in tears when I heard these last three because if I finally got receipts of what I was telling people.
Oh, that's awesome.
Here's the first one.
Okay.
You hear her saying Shante.
I
That's
heard.
Lakota for calm yourself.
Oh,
I'll play it again.
yeah. Play it again. Yep, I heard that.
That's a female saying. That's female speaking Lakota going Shante, which is calm yourself. It's even in the Lakota lullaby. Shante washte hochte da dagi astima aha hepe hey washte oh yay. The very first word in that song is Shante.
Shante. So do you think she was
And
telling it to
I've
you?
heard that.
Or do you think she
I
was
know.
telling
I
it?
think she was telling. I think I had little ones that was playing on my porch and playing
Mhm.
around my house that night because you can hear them walking around in the
Yeah.
yard by my porch and then hear them climb up my ladder.
Yeah.
And then you can hear them playing with stuff like they kicked my metal milk can on my porch.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So I think it was her telling them to calm yourself. Now these next two are males.
Oh,
And William's in a chat now, William Nighthawk, amazing man. We thought it was Chickasaw at first, and the more we listened to it, because it goes, yeah, at the end,
yeah.
we're thinking it's Cherokee.
Ah.
And it's two different males at two different distances. They're a little further out. You heard
Wow.
him say, oh, yeah. Huh. And this is the
Wow.
he was sorry. He was closer. Sorry.
Oh
I had
no.
him mixed up.
So what do you think it was trying to say?
I don't know yet. I don't know the Cherokee language very good.
Gotcha.
I used to know parts of it, like Kolga for crow, hey, Kolga. If I remember right, like good morning or hello, Socio, something like that. I've forgotten a lot of it. I don't remember very much. So I've got to get somebody who's pretty fluent in Cherokee. But I need to get it cleared up where it's a little bit more understandable. And then once I can get it, cleared up where it's a little bit more it's not near as clear as the female. I mean, that female was she was pretty clear.
Yeah, she was clear.
So that's some stuff that you can be looking for when you're out there, because I believe they understand English. Don't get me wrong. I 100%. Top of the hour. Oh shit. Thanks, Roxanne. Thank you. Appreciate that. Give me a second. We'll play some Dark Angel Medical. Kungi is crow in Lakota. There you go.
Oh, nice.
Kungi is crow in Lakota. So he's probably is this weird because at the end he goes, yeah. So there you. I mean, so yeah. It's me and Williams took a deep dive in. In fact, when I did the show revealing all this stuff, I had William on there with me.
Oh, nice.
Give us a few seconds. We're going to play top of the hour, so we're going to do a Dark Angel Medical.
Okay.
And talk about that for a minute. Here's a I love how that animates my artwork, but it still needs to do better.
Yeah.
Folks, if you're looking for the best first aid kit or trauma kit on the market, look no further than Dark Angel Medical. There's a reason why I asked Doc to be able to sponsor this stuff. I do not get a dime for sponsoring Dark Angel Medical. I love his stuff so much. In fact, I've got two kits. I've got the headrest kit, and I've got a tick kit that goes on my field back. That's was actually a picture of it was in that video there. Dark Angel Medical is by far, hands down, the primo of cream, the cream of the cream of trauma and first aid kits. If you use Cryptid 20, you get 20% off. If you have FSA or HSA, you can use that to buy their kits. Now, you're going to pay some money. Doc's kits are expensive because it's got the very best in there. But you can do like I do and use Sezzle. Four payments later, it's paid off. No worries on it. They have different styles. Mine's always military style because that's what I know. I know combat first aid, combat field medicine. So that's why all my setups are military style. If you're wanting some good training, he can come to you and do training. He does that for groups. You can also go to youtube.com at Dark Angel Medical 5115. And let me scroll up past the comments here to get to the other one. Hey, Jeff. Or you can go to Instagram to Dark Angel Medical. Doc does put videos out on how to properly treat wounds and different stuff. Go there, give him a like, subscribe, and follow. Let him know I said, hey, what's up? Hey, Ryan, how's it going, bro? You will not be disappointed in Dark Angel Medical. That's why I carry his kits and only his kits, because they are the absolute best. Make sure I've seen some comments here. Hey, Jeff. Make sure I haven't missed anybody. Ryan Fall Tremblay, hell of a good dude. Love the shit out of little Ryan, man. I've had him on my shows a few times. You know, I use Dark Angel Medical kits in my books too. So does D.A. Roberts. Make sure I'm not missing any comments in here. It's a flying. Okay. Oh, also, I forgot to tell you, Doc is the godfather of Kit for Life. If you use his kit to save a life and you let him know about it, he replaces whatever you use in that kit for free. And his medications have a 2-year shelf life.
Okay.
So I forgot that. I just happened to see the thing about wounds and it popped up in my show. You let me know, Jeff. Let me know your days and I'll let you know. Yeah, we'll get it. I need to get you on one time too. I keep forgetting to ask you to come on. Jeff's got a really good show too. I mean, you've got to get over and check his stuff out. Okay, I think I'm all caught up now. Hey, Jeff, if you wouldn't mind, because I don't have a deal, put your link to your stuff in the chat there. I've got Ryan's. Ryan's is pulled up here, but I don't think I've got around to making one yet. So put your link in the chat if you wouldn't mind, Jeff. Old Line Cryptids on YouTube. Thank you, buddy. So yeah, this is the type of stuff that we find here. Now, I mean, I've seen this very same stuff we're talking about because we're focused on the Ozark Mountains right now. That's where we're from.
Yep.
That's where the bulk of our investigation is at. But I can tell you now, everything that I've showed or have you showed, I've seen all over this world. Heck yeah, we're going to. No worries, Jeff. No worries, buddy. Yes, Vicky, Amy, it is on YouTube. But this is stuff you can look all over the world. I know the Ozark. I know Ozark. I love riding Ozark. I love being on my bike, hitting the mountains in Ozark. My family's from Pineville. I spend a lot of time in Ozark. In fact, Pineville area, North Arkansas area is the same damn thing. It really is. It's the tallest part of the Ozark Mountains. And there's a lot of high strangeness in these Ozark Mountains. There's a lot of dangers. You have to be careful. Because you got dogmen, you got Ozark Howler, you got Wampus Cat, the list goes on and on and on. And there's been reportings of the big W's there, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff there. You know, I mean, not far from that area, I'm in the middle of a werewolf investigation right now, which is one of the few times I've been ran out of the woods. So, you know, this is the type of stuff we deal out there. And yes, this is the Bigfoot. Thank you, Vicky. You know, this one's a Bigfoot one, but you know, when you're Bigfooting, you have to understand there is these other dangers out there too that we got to be aware of.
Yep.
You're gonna make a Wendy no make it. It'd be grenades. Note that reads in case of Wendy go full pin. That's awesome, Ryan. Absolutely, William. You're 100% right, and that's one thing I was getting ready to hit. The Ozark Mountains has caves beyond caves beyond caves. I mean, there is so. Oh, I missed something there. They're I love my chat because they get to picking on each other in there. Hey, Dario, how's it going? Dario is from Italy.
Oh, hi.
So, yeah, not ciao. That's goodbye. I can't remember. But so I mean, this is stuff that we got to consider, and I'm a big believer that they use caves, and I know Arkansas has a lot of caves, probably not near as much as Missouri does. Hey, Ohio, but I know Arkansas has caves, and they got some big ones. They got some really nice caves down there, and especially the northern part of Arkansas. I've been in a few of them. In fact, I'm fixing to go down because see, how can I say this without being in too much trouble?
Uh-oh.
A certain organization out of Arkansas went on a certain place that they had no permission to be on and bricked a cave up. And so I got a call from the owner. So needless to say, DA and I are going to be going down to Arkansas here pretty soon because we're wanting to know why a certain organization in Arkansas has bricked off somebody's private cave.
Yeah, how could that even happen? I mean, so like you're saying, it's on somebody's physical property, and this organization came into this person's property and bricked up their cave?
Went in about 10 or 25 feet, somewhere within that range, and bricked it off.
Oh, heck no.
It's against the law.
Yeah.
This organization has no legal rights to do that at all. So now a little backstory. There's been some interesting things happening in that area before they bricked it off.
I would ask, but since you're being coy, I don't want it to be put out there, but I'm very curious to hear the rest of the story whenever it gets, taken care of.
Bargino, that's right. Bonjiro, I'm hillbilly. Hey, Monisha. Yeah, I'll be putting it out there because, that's BS. So now I'm interested. Why these guys illegally coming on somebody's property and bricking up a cave? What are they hiding?
Exactly.
So me and my curiosity and my old Marine Corps retarded ass is going, I'm going in this baby. Oh, perfect, Jeff. Yeah. Yeah. So
you've heard of Devil's Den, right?
Yes. Beautiful place. Oh God,
yes,
beautiful
fantastic.
place.
And we all kind of know how it got its name. And so back when I was in high school, we went over to Devil's Den because there's a cave system under there, and it was just open to anybody could go into it. And we got in, I think, through the Devil's Ice box, and we spent hours down there just caving. About me and 5 or 6 of my friends. We went there on senior skip day, caving, and guess what? That cave system is now blocked off to the public as well. It used to be anybody could go in anytime, no problems. And now it's too unsafe. And now they've blocked it off. It's like, what's really the reason why you blocked it off? So it's sad. It's sad. I would love to go in there now
Mhm.
that I know, how Devil's Den got its name, and anytime that you hear the word devil on something, that's old folk talk
And
for the boogers. Yeah.
look how many places around the world has got Devil's Elbow, Devil's Kitchen, Devil. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on.
Yep.
Ryan just said a lot of caves are being sealed up around here in Arizona too. So yeah,
Really?
that makes me go, what are we doing?
Right.
They are bolt gun. Peach is my favorite, buddy. Peach is my favorite. It's old Marine joke. You say crayons are pretty tasty because Marines are crayon eaters. Yep.
Is that
Peach is
the
my
joke?
favorite.
Oh no.
Yep. A lot of military branches would call Marines crayon eaters. So yeah.
Now say I was in the Air Force for a short amount of time, and I never heard y'all being called crayon eaters. We had our
Yep.
own, we call
That's been around for a long
really.
time.
We always had the jug head and that type of stuff, but I never heard a crayon eater.
Yeah, jarhead. Yep.
Yeah.
Jarhead, leatherneck. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Crayon eater is another one. I just missed some comments, so I'm trying to scroll back up and see what I missed. That would be interesting to hear, Roxanne. Now you got me intrigued. You trying to speak some Southern hillbilly with your teeth down. Bounty says they blocked a lot of areas off. Yeah, they are.
And but it was
Man,
the
there was something
DA
else.
spoke about that at the conference last week too. There was a cave not far from Springfield, I think he was saying, that was well known, that one day all of a sudden it got closed off. You can't go into it anymore.
Yep, Jarhead was a common one. Yeah.
Yep. That's what I knew.
Yeah. I mean, it's yeah. Uh, oh crap! Chat keeps jumping, so I lose my spot.
Ah.
Marines are oh. I cannot comment to that on this show, William. I just got my hand from being spanked earlier. Uh, yeah, Benny. Give a marine a box of crayons and they'll clear the area for the flyboys to build the landings and clear the waters for the frogs to swim. Pretty much. Smiddle Cave, yes. Smiddle Cave. That
Yes.
is the one,
Yes,
Jeff.
that's
Yeah,
the one.
Smiddle Cave is not far from me. Yeah, Smiddle
Oh,
Cave ain't that far from me.
okay.
We were going repelling with a Marine, the Wichita Mountains, and I was humping all the gear, and that old Marine said, "Corey, you would made a hell of a grunt." Dude, yeah, we pack a lot of stuff. Yeah, I still have a tendency to do that, especially if I'm going out in the woods or something. Yeah, I pack a lot of stuff. Like I got a truckload of stuff I got to take out just for a short day trip because I was like, well, I don't know what we're going to need, so I'm just going to pack all my gear in my truck, even though it's just a little day deal.
Yep. You never
Now I got to
know.
pack it back in my house, pack it back in the. Yeah, you don't. But so yeah, no. I noticed one thing you put toys. I don't put stuff out, but I've
Okay.
seen you putting toys. We kind of talked about this because you had that egg that kept falling. I was like, yeah, the shape, man. The wind could do it. A squirrel could do it. Something could do it. Just because the oddness of the shape.
Yeah.
So how's that been going for you?
So it's been going actually quite interesting. So I got blocked from the area that you were just talking about where I was doing the egg and stuff. They blocked me from going up there. They put a tree in front of the path, like a big old tree. And so I'm like, all right, they don't want me going over there anymore. So I found another spot and kept doing it. And so I think I am actually interacting with a different clan right now. So the original clan, and the reason why I say that is this. So I was learning through all of that they didn't like the artificial stuff I was putting out. And so I said, all right, they don't like the artificial. Let me put some real stuff out, some natural, some nature stuff. So I came home and I made up a bouquet of flowers for my yard and I took it out there and it got taken. Everything else, I put some of the other toys and stuff out. Everything was left, but the flowers were taken. I was like, oh. So I came back home, over some time, brought some more flowers out. Those were taken. Every time I put flowers out, they would be gone, like gone, disappeared. And everything else would be left there. So I ended up having foot surgery. So I couldn't go into the woods for about 3 months while I was healing up from that. When I went out there, I brought flowers from home, just like, because I know they liked the flowers. Everything else, like I said, would get left. I put the flowers out, went back a couple days later. They were still laying there dead. I was like, what? They always take flowers. So I took out more flowers, laid them there, went back a couple days later, dead. So I'm like, I don't think that group's here anymore. So then I started putting out other stuff, and that stuff is being interacted with and the natural stuff isn't. So I think this is a different clan that I'm dealing with now, that during that 3 months, I don't know if they moved out and another one moved in. I don't know, but their behavior is different. And so now the stuff I'm putting out, I'm getting like rocks being thrown off of stuff. I'm getting interactions, but the one that I think was probably the coolest that happened the other day is I took out a rubber ducky along with some other stuff, and I had it on my log. And I have like my rocks numbered so I can tell if things have been messed with, if things are missing. And some rocks were thrown, but this rubber ducky was taken, and I had placed a stick that's kind of a Y-shaped stick into the ground. They took that rubber ducky and they placed it on top of that Y stick, and they had it dangling perfect. And I was like, I thought that was extremely cool. I was just like, wow, of all the things they could have done, they could have thrown it like they throw the other stuff. They could have taken it away. They could have done anything, but they balanced it right on that stick. That was super cool. And so I'm getting stuff like that. They're moving stuff around. I had some necklaces out there, and they're moving the necklaces around. So I'm just getting a little bit of stuff, which I'm okay with. This is a process. I knew it was going to be a process. And so for me, why I'm doing this is I'm playing the long game, hopefully, with them, trying to gain trust, and if it takes little baby steps in the beginning, I'm fine with that, and I'm hoping over time that as they start learning that they can trust me, that I'm not going to, be running back there and charging on them or trying to get their picture or this, that, and the other. I'm hoping that over time they will start vocalizing for me, or they'll start maybe letting me see them. So that's my long game plan. So like I said, right now it's just baby steps, just trying to get some trust being formed. And it is, I'm getting more frequent interaction. It is small, but it's getting more frequent. And so I think we're starting down a good path of, trying to build some trust, even if that's possible. It may not be possible, but like I said, this is research. I'm seeing what their temperament's like, all that type of stuff. So this is all research, and sometimes research goes slow. But like I said, that's my mindset. That's my thought process. And that's why I'm documenting everything and letting everybody go on this journey with me on my YouTube channel. Because, like I said, who knows, 6 months from now, maybe they'll start getting some good vocalizations, or maybe they'll start showing themselves. So that's the whole point of this habituation site.
Well, there's a difference between like you going out there to a new spot versus me. I've lived with this group for 33 years.
Wow.
And I've been in, I love being in my woods. They know me. They interacted more positive with me than they ever did my mom or my dad or anybody else.
Nice.
So that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
William wants to know, when you say rocks, what size mostly?
Just little, rocks like this. I have about 5 of them that I have each of one of them numbered, and I set them on the log, and seeing what they do with them. Sometimes they'll be like 1, 2, and they'll throw away 3 and 4 and leave 5 at the far end, or sometimes they'll leave, they'll do them in different, they'll do different things to them. Sometimes number 1 is there, and sometimes number 1's not there. Sometimes number 4 is there. Sometimes they throw number 4. So I don't know why they do what they do, but like I said, this is just it's research, So I do put those rocks about this size out for them.
For me, like, I've got little blue rubies that's been out there from when we filmed that documentary.
Yeah.
And I've had some that became missing. And then like this weekend, I found one that had been moved.
Yeah.
It was placed, 15 feet from where it originally was. That's something that's very common. They've weird. I'm going to show you something because I've had some weird stuff given to me. Let me type it in to be quicker.
Sure. Yeah, they haven't left me anything yet. Labeled. I hope someday they will.
Well,
I always tell them, if you want to leave me something, you can. Or if you want to take this back to your home, you can. But they've never taken anything long term or at all. They've always just messed with the stuff that's there. This particular clan, like I said, the other clan, they would take the flowers and leave everything else. Like I said, but this group tends to like man-made stuff versus nature stuff. So that's why I've been putting out is man-made stuff.
Yeah. So, I've been like, I'll go out in my woods and I'll, changing the batteries in my game cam. And my dogs are with me. I go inside and there is nothing on my porch when I go inside. A few minutes later, when I come out and my dogs are in with me, this will be sitting on my porch. I've had that happen twice, 2 different sizes. I've had a Little Caesars pizza box.
Is that a cow?
So, no, that's the closest we can get to that is a type of bulldog, which is, this was puppy style. We had a bulldog, but he's full grown.
Yeah.
We didn't have puppy bulldogs. I've been given 2 different sizes of these skulls. I've been given a Little Caesars box, which I've not had Little Caesars out here in forever. And it was like picked clean.
Wow.
And like the one year that I was hurt and like really bad sick and couldn't go hunting. So I have a spot in my woods, and I put that in that video I did Saturday. This is where I take my carcasses and what I don't eat. I take it to this spot.
Okay.
And normally 9 times out of 10, and within one day, everything's completely gone.
Wow.
I went out to the woodshed and to have my daughter sitting at the window, was handing her wood through the window for the wood stove, shut it, came inside. 5 minutes later, she came out, and right where I was just at was a decayed deer carcass, rib cage with a vertebrae sitting on top of it.
Oh, my word. Wow.
Yeah, that's the type of stuff that I got a couple questions here. I got to figure out. The chat's moved up, so I got to get up to them.
Sure.
Let me find out. Okay. Ohio. Question for your guest. Has she ever asked them to show their self to? Have they ever asked? Have you ever asked them to show themselves to you?
I have. And then I sat there for a while, and nothing happened. And I said, and I just told them, I'm like, that's so, speaking out, I just let them know that that's okay. No pressure. Whenever they're ready, they're more than welcome to show them. But whenever they want to. But I have asked them several times. Like I said, when nothing happened, I just reassured them that's okay. Whenever you're ready. When I was out in Yakima, they were, the Native Americans, they were big about showing them respect. And so, so I don't go to a certain area. I don't go back to the area that I feel that they're at, because I want them to have their safe space. And so whenever I come up, I let them know I'm coming up. When I'm up there, I let them know I'm going to be just right here. I'm not going to go back here, and I let them know, that whenever you're ready to do stuff, it's all up to you. So I try to show them as much as respect as possible to help build that trust.
That's important.
Yeah.
William brings up a very good point here.
What's that?
They don't throw things at people unless they're angry,
Yeah.
warning or protecting their family unit. If they like you, they will be curious and stuff left for you.
Mm. Yeah, so I'm hoping
Yeah, that's how I've always
yeah.
known it too.
I've had stuff left for me once, but it wasn't from this clan. It was something else.
Okay, he also says, but the young ones will watch your reaction to things thrown at people to see if they have fear, if they have to fear you. They learned about weapons and people that way. Yep.
And that's why I didn't run when that branch got thrown. I was trying to show them that I wasn't scared, even though I was.
Northern Arkansas, Ryan. She's in Northern Arkansas. So a couple hours from me.
Yep.
Yeah, that's usually how it is. Like today when we were out there, I seen a black feather on the ground, and I knew I was supposed to. I don't pick things up unless I know I'm supposed to.
Yeah.
So as I picked it up, all I had was chin tobacco. So it's tobacco. I laid tobacco and thanked them for it. So when you do that type of stuff, with respect, tobacco, honey, milk, something like that is an offering of respect, not just to cryptids, but to Fae a lot too. So, yeah, they can knock a bird out of the air with a rock. Absolutely, Corey. Yeah, they like mine in my area don't throw stuff at me. I get a feeling is I need to stay out of the woods. And generally I'll stay out unless I absolutely have to be there.
Yeah.
Now, am I packing pretty heavy in that instance? Yes, I'm packing pretty heavy. But they know me pretty good that they know I'm just going to go in, get my stuff done because I have a reason I need to be out in my woods. And then I leave. I don't dilly-dally around like I do the rest of the times.
Yeah.
So they learn habits. The more that they see you, the more that you interact out there, the more they learn about you.
Yep.
So that's key. And respect. I mean, respect is just one of those things you just absolutely do. But you should always take a tobacco offering with you too, because it's not just for cryptids; it's the Fae that live there as well. Because you upset the Fae by doing something, they can wreak havoc on your life.
Oh, so what type of tobacco? Like, do I pick up a
smoke
Marlboro Lights or something and take out there? What do I do? What type of tobacco?
Just get some just some smoking.
Like loose?
Just put some loose tobacco. Okay. All I had on me was dipping tobacco.
Yeah.
And it's worked. I've used it before, and but smoked tobacco is the preferred way.
Okay. Yeah, I need to go out there.
Right here, yeah.
But like Monday.
William said it here. Oops.
I'm sorry. What was that?
Not cigarettes. William said it best. Not cigarettes.
Thank you. Thank you,
bag tobacco. Yes, Corey. Pure tobacco. Absolutely, Ryan. Yeah. I mean, that's what you want. Nothing with additives or chemicals.
Okay. Oh yeah.
So I mean, I've used dip tobacco. I dip natural. My friends that visit me are messing with my camera again. There we go. Every now and then, if you see a figure move behind me, that's natural. That's I have things that move behind me. I have like 4 elementals that follow me around, and sometimes they like to pop and say hi on the show. So you'll literally see a figure here, or here while we're on live. So if you see that, usually when my camera's messing up with that, it's because the elementals are coming in to say hi.
Gotcha. Well, hello.
Don't be afraid or feel stupid talking out loud. Let them know you're innocent. Yes. Loose tobacco, the cigarettes have tons of yes.
Yeah.
All natural. Absolutely. Yes.
So you were talking about habitual stuff, like habit. And that's true. Whenever I go out there, I drive the same car. I park in the same spot. I try to wear my hair down, but sometimes it's so hot. Sometimes I have to wear it up, but I try to wear it down. I put the same perfume on so they get used to smelling me. And when I get there, I'm saying my name over and over and over again. I'm constantly speaking, and I also have a certain call I make. So, so if I had to, I could just make that call, and they would instantly know that Angie was there. So I try to do the
Yep.
same things, repetitiveness over and over and over as much as possible.
I wasn't laughing at you. I was laughing at William because I literally was just talking. Well, my guest is back, and William goes, "Your guest is back." I was like, we've gotten pretty used to it. William and I have gotten pretty used to it.
Now, was he the gentleman that was at the conference with you?
No, that was D.A. Roberts and Roxanne and Pyro. Ryan says, try leaving them marbles and precious stones. Leaving some sage and cypress might be a good idea too.
Okay.
And then he also said leaving a range stick would be a good idea.
Oh, okay.
Perfume is not good. Shouldn't wear. And yeah, I don't wear anything or so out in the woods with me. I don't.
Yeah.
They know you're coming before you leave. Yep. Absolutely. Yes.
I said, it's just experimentation. I don't always have the perfume on because if I'm out running errands, I'm like, well, I got to get out to my spot. Then I just go straight to my spot. I won't come home just to spray some. But if I'm already home and I'm getting ready to go out, then I'll have some on. But that doesn't happen every time. But I have left out crystals, and they never took the crystals. Like I took like a brown amethyst or something along those lines, and never even touched it. The other group never even touched it either. But I'll try a different one.
Yeah. And this is something I was getting ready to say, and William brought it up. And I'll tell you what I was going to say. But he says, also clear your mind from your negativity of the human life. Ground yourself with the environment before going into them. Absolutely, because William and I will talk about this a lot. There's an old native proverb that says, when you go out hunting the animals and you think, hey, I'm going to get a big buck, they can pick that up. Your thoughts soar through the air like arrows on an open field, and they can pick that up.
Yeah.
So like when I go out Bigfooting, whatever it is, I'm not thinking, hey, I'm going to capture a Bigfoot today. Yeah, I'm just out there. Oh, look at this pretty bird. Look at this pretty. And I find all the stuff I find.
Yeah.
They can read your thoughts. They can read your thoughts. Yes, take your shoes off and ground in socks and ground yourself. Absolutely. But you can do it by leaning up against a tree too, Ryan. It's a more direct contact with the bare feet on Mother Earth, but you can do it from, being up against a tree.
Yeah.
Amy says, try purple. My Bigfoot leaves me purple amethyst.
When I was up in the Pacific Northwest, I was interacting with a group up there, and it was time for me to come back home to Arkansas. So I left them a purple amethyst. That's funny that you say that.
Yeah. That is true. That is something that is, yes, Ohio, you're correct. Male Bigfoot like females. Female Bigfoots like males. Being alone, probably not the best idea if you're a female.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
Yeah.
I don't normally go out at nighttime there. So when I'm going into that area, it's usually in the daytime. And so I don't know if the big guy, the head honcho would come out in the daytime. Would he?
They will. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I will make a note.
Yeah. That's why, I know your husband goes with you from time to time, but not all the time.
Yeah.
About 99% of the time,
I'm by myself.
Oh, does he? Okay.
No, I'm by myself about 99% of the time. Yeah.
Yeah. It's always good to have, don't be me. That's one of the famous phrases on this show. Don't be me. I have a tendency to do investigations by myself. I'm getting too damn long in the tooth to do that. Yeah, I don't either a lot of times.
Yeah. Everybody I know is working. I'm lucky I get to be a housewife. And so everybody else is working, or they're totally not into it and they wouldn't go for $1 million. So I'm kind of stuck by going by myself.
Yeah. That's the thing with me is like, like there's times that I'm free, but somebody else may not be, or
Mhm.
they're free and I'm not.
Yep.
So it's a lot of times I'm like, man, hey, I'm heading out. Uh, yeah,
I
I
always
never go alone doing this. Yeah, no,
Yeah. I let people
yeah,
know when I'm heading to the
you're
woods. I'll
right.
text my husband. I'll say, "Hey, I'm going to my
Yeah,
spot," and then when I come out, I say, "Hey, I'm out," and that way he knows if he doesn't hear from me that something's gone wrong.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's that's something because like I mean, so that instance where I just got ran out of the woods.
Yeah.
I was by myself. I was doing an initial investigation. I like to go to a place and do an initial investigation. I want to get the feel of the land.
Yep.
And then I'll come in and actually do an actual in-depth investigation on it. So I was just down there, kind of getting the feel of the land, feel what the energies are like there. Am I messing with something good? Am I messing with something bad? And that's what I was doing. So I was in an area that did not know. It was getting dark, and something supernatural. It 100% was supernatural. Was trying to lure me away the very moment I stepped foot out of my truck.
Hmm.
And I knew it. I felt it from that instance. And the further
Yep.
on that night went, the stronger it got, the more angry it got, to the point that I rushed and grabbed my shit, threw it in the truck, and left. Because I was like,
Yeah.
dude, if I stay any longer, I'm gone.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
need people. Um, let's see here. I've seen some stuff. I want to make sure I didn't.
You definitely have to listen to your gut. If you don't feel right about it, like you
Yeah,
said, get out. Yep.
yeah, and that's very very important.
Yeah.
Very very important.
Yeah.
Um, get a person settled, located, advise people
I have
don't
one.
go missing. That usually, yeah.
Yep. I have one of those.
I don't know. I don't have one.
Yeah, I asked for it for Christmas last year and got
Roxanne.
it. Santa was good. So yeah, I have one now.
Sassafras tea is amazing, Amy. It's like a root beer version of a tea,
Yeah,
basically.
it is good. I've had that.
Yeah, you're right, William. You're right. Boneheaded, fluffy paranormal investigation extraordinaire. Yeah, I still have a tendency to be boneheaded. Um, yeah, I love these everybody. And I've got such amazing followers. I'm so blessed. I love these guys' conversations.
They are
But yes,
very
sassafras was
active.
used to make. They are. Yes, Amy. Sassafras was made to make root beer and black licorice.
Yep.
That's why when you make a tea out of that root, it tastes like a root beer version of a tea.
Yep.
It's amazing. It's very, very healthy and very, very, very good for you. That's why they don't want to sell it no more, because it's so good for you. The cryptid. Eric,
Yeah.
you could put cryptid counselor on your business. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, Roxanne. You're right. Oh man. But here I'm pretty comfortable going out by myself. Um, I've lived with these guys for 33 years. We've had different kinds of interactions. None of it aggressive. Well, maybe a little aggression this last few months ago, when before my youngest moved out, which I think was a young juvenile male having the hots for my daughter.
Ooh.
Just because it was only active whenever she was alone outside, and they'll be sitting there in that tree line just going, oh, 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 doing that. So I'm like, yeah, I think we got a young male. Got the hots for you, honey. She's like, I'm not going outside no more, Daddy. Yep.
I don't blame her.
But outside that, it's always been peaceful. It's I've always had peaceful reactions. Now they did get pissed, and they got really pissed when we shot that documentary out here.
Mm.
And like, I don't do calls.
Yeah.
I don't do calls. I don't believe in tree knocks. I don't believe they tree knock. I don't do the tree knocks. And I let one of the guys a member of the local BFRO who was on that documentary team, do a howl. And from the very moment we started leaving them woods, I had that feeling like who's these guys? Why are they here? And what are you doing? So, I mean,
Wow.
that was the one time that I had a really bad experience. And it was just because I've never brought strangers in my woods doing this type of stuff.
Yep.
Never done it. It's always just me. And, I've got a bunch of these people out here. We're finding family-sized footprints, all from little ones up to big, buck males.
Wow.
All different sizes of these footprints. And, yeah, I think it upset them. That was
Yeah.
the feeling I got, and that's why I told them, it's like, we're going to have to be careful because we pissed them off.
Yeah. And that's what I'm trying really
I love blacklippers.
not to do.
Go ahead, sorry.
I don't want to take anybody out to my site, not because I have anything to hide. I don't want to screw stuff up. And, if I'm trying to get them to trust me and all of a sudden I'm bringing these strangers around, I have a feeling that it would make things go backwards, and so I just don't want to risk it. I remember what like Shane talked about at the 400. Well, actually, it wasn't the 400. It was where they were before the 400, and they were getting good activity, and they did something, and it made it all stop. And I do not want that. And so I don't want to take anybody to my spot right now either because of the same thing. I don't want to screw anything up.
Yeah. No, and so you got to be careful. I mean, respect is like a huge, huge, huge part of this.
Yeah.
Go out there respectful. Go out there with a positive attitude. They know me. If I get in a bad mood, I'm known to go out and sit in my woods. And I just let Mother Earth absorb that negativity and put positivity back in me.
Sure.
So they're good with that. But like I said, I've had a 33-year, coexistence with these things.
Yeah. Yeah. Which makes a difference.
Well, and I agree with you on that, Ohio. Yeah. I agree with you on that, Ohio. Absolutely.
Wait, I didn't see. What did he say?
He said it's disrespectful doing calls because you don't know what you're saying. Absolutely. I just talk to him in English.
Yep.
Yeah, I am. I basically put our local BFRO to shame, Ray. So I get you. I know exactly what you're talking about. I put our local ones to shame because I got gaffed off, and then all of a sudden now they're like, "Holy crap, you got more activity than any place I've ever seen." Yeah, coming from a quack, But yeah, so man, I didn't realize we're coming up on that 2-hour mark. So I do have a question for you.
Yeah.
Based off your thermal hit.
Yes.
Is your husband more of a believer now because of the thermal hit, or is he still a skeptic?
He is more of a believer after seeing that on thermal. And I said, well, what do you mean you're more of a believer? I said, you just saw the thing. For him, he wants to actually see it like a daytime sighting. He wants to see the hair. He wants to see it, not its heat. And so I said, okay.
Yeah.
But he does. He goes, yeah. He goes, I did see it. He goes, so I know what I was looking at. He goes, and I know it's there, and I know they're real. He goes, but I want to see it actually in real form, not just, like I said, the heat.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too. Like, so I don't consider myself ever having a full blown visual.
Yeah.
Have I seen something run through the woods that seemed to be at least 9 foot tall, and it was the shape of what you call a Bigfoot? Yes, I've seen it. A couple days later, did I get that thermal hit? Yes, but I've not got anything that I can conclusively say 100% is that a Bigfoot. I can tell you, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Sorry, Roxanne. I meant to do that earlier. And it's also in the description. That's on Facebook and YouTube. Squatch Ya Doin.
Squatch Ya Doin.
So you can go into the description and the links are there. You can click it and it'll take you directly to her stuff. Let's see here. Did I miss anything? I don't think so. If I missed a question, guys, put it back up. Yeah, I got stuck on the Squatch Ya Doin, and I was trying to remember. So, for me, I've had that experience. There's one time I was sitting in a tree stand, and I never looked. I'll admit, this scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
But in a corner of my eyes, I see something very large and brown that looked like a head next to my tree stand, and I'm up in a ladder stand, and it's like damn near at my knees.
Oh.
And I didn't look. I didn't move. I didn't do shit. I was just like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, right.
It didn't make a noise. It didn't smell. I don't know what it is. It could be a damn coon for all I know. I don't know. I just know I seen it out of the corner of my eye and I froze. I was like, what the hell is this shit? I'm 10, 15. Yeah, I'm 10 feet off the freaking ground.
And
What is this damn thing? Huh?
It was at your knees?
And its head was, its head was with my knees. My bottom of my tree stand is about 10 feet off the ground.
Oh, my word.
I froze and I didn't move. And it didn't do nothing, but the whole time I was like, dude, this is Bigfoot and this bitch is gonna eat me. I have nowhere to run. If I jump off the front of my tree stand, I'm going down 20 foot. It's 10 foot behind me.
Oh.
But he's behind me. I got rock and trees. Dude, I jumped. Dude.
Yeah.
I'm a fluffy freaking taco in this tree stand. I got nowhere to move. And then and then all of a sudden I looked forward because I kind of looked around. I was like, okay, where do I want to jump? If I want to jump, where do I want to jump? And I kind of corner of my eye, I looked back down again. It was gone. And I waited and I waited. And then after a while, I was like, okay, I'm out. And I left the woods. I was like, I don't need a deer hunt today.
Yep.
I've seen some comments here. What did
That
I
would have been
miss?
terrifying.
Do like Jesus Payon and tell them, hey, this guy doesn't believe you're real. I forgot about that, Corey. Jesus Payon Jr. is an actor, a very dear friend. He was in Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul as Gonzo. That's what he's most well known for. But he's been in several movies, several TV shows. Hilarious. I've had him on my show a few times. I love the shit out of that guy. He'll say something like that. People want to fart and not spill it, but you get it. Yeah, or so. Oh my gosh. Make sure I haven't missed. Ohio says, I've seen them full body several times in daytime and nighttime, male and female ones. That's cool. I mean, I'm pretty dang sure those 2 times were Bigfoot, but to me, they were. But if I'm being real and I'm being honest, like I try to do on this show,
sure,
I have nothing to prove it. Plus, it was running so fast on that one. And the other one I seen out of the corner of my eye, I had no definitive look upon it. So I can't say, yes, 100% I've seen one.
Yeah.
I can just tell you, I think I have.
You think
I think I've had. I had one roaring at me, and I thought it was a big machine revving up and went running to the sound.
You went
was
running
that the time? No, that was the dog man. Yeah, that was the dog man. Never mind, Corey. I got it mixed up here for a minute. Yes. I mean, you're absolutely, Amy. Absolutely, yes. Hey, Joanne. Good to see you in here, sweetheart. Making sure I ain't missing. I seen one at night, less than 8 feet from me. It was about 9 feet tall.
Wow.
Yeah, that one that I caught 2 days before I caught it on thermal. Both of them times hey, Unreal. They were at that 9 foot height. I can't tell you for sure.
Wow.
But going out there next to that tree, seeing where it was in a distance and where it was running at would definitely put him at least a 9-foot mark.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And Corey shows, I didn't know any better at the time. Just like you thought it'd be fun to feed your friend to a dog man.
Well, the slowest one.
Hey, that's right. I ain't got to be the fastest one. I just ain't got to be, I just don't, I just got to be not the slowest one.
Not the slowest.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, we are pretty much at that 2-hour mark. Was there anything you would like to share with anybody that we have not covered?
Oh, my word. Well, I don't know. I have so many stories. I've had a lot of interactions, and of course, we didn't get into them all here, but people can see the majority of them on my Facebook, on my YouTube page, Squatch Ya Doin, and you'll find all my accounts there. And I continue to post about once a week, and whether I get any action or not, if I go up there and they haven't interacted with anything, I still show it because that's still research. Then I let you see how I reset it, and we'll go back and check. And like I said, it's just a journey. It's a process. My early stuff is all about my encounters that I've had. But everything after that is me with the habituation site. So please go check it out. I would love for you to, see what has happened to me in the past and what got me really into this Bigfoot, and then just follow along with my journey. That would be fantastic. And I if you ever leave me a comment, I always answer all my comments. So if you have a question or you see something that you want to know more about, leave it in the comment. I will answer you.
Heck yeah. Yeah. Hi, Aurora. I thought that was you earlier. It ended up being Baby Kitty. Well, now we got another one. We got two of them going in here. What are you doing, Mouth? I know you're Meow. Sorry, I'm being bombarded by animals right now. Typical on this show. So kind of some closing thoughts. So going out there doing this stuff, it's fun. We have a blast doing it, trying new things, learning new stuff from other. No, don't be on my keyboard, honey. No, you like to call me too much. Just be careful out there and learn. That's why I love having different people on here. Is I love hearing what they do, and you see what's different compared to what I do. Share things that I've seen, and that's how we build and that's how we learn, and that's what I love doing, all this type of stuff. So. Oh, right. Yes, honey. I know. I've been gone all day. Woe is you. You have not been able to lay and sleep in my lap. Yes, I know, baby.
No, thank you. It was my pleasure. It was a blast.
Honey, you're knocking my hat off.
Oh no, he's getting attacked by his cat.
Yeah, so I've got two dog men that like to play at my feet, which one of them's outside. I've left him outside for that reason. And I've got these were kitties all over the place. So yeah,
very cute.
So just be careful out there. Love doing that. Oh, thank you, Manisha. You're awesome. She just subscribed to you.
Oh, thank you.
And I've watched most of your shows already, your videos, and I'm almost done. But I've gotten busy and haven't been able to finish them all up yet.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
If you got any time you want to come on, and you got something new you want to share, let me know. I'll bring you on. Saturdays is also my open mic night. If you got something you want to come in on the Saturday show and talk about, that is also another time you can do that. It's been a pleasure for you coming on. Thank you so much. I'm truly thankful.
And thank you, Bounty Hunting, is it, for subscribing, and Monisha.
Bounty Hunter.
Thank you to
Manisha,
everybody.
Bounty Hunter, and Ohio Bigfoot.
Oh, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. And thank you for having me on. It was fantastic.
It was a blast.
Yeah.
As always, guys, give a shout out to my moderators. They Corey, William, Roxanne, they really helped me doing this, getting things done. Amy just subscribed too. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you, Amy.
So they're real big help, and I appreciate every single one of you mods. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for the questions you had for Angie. I appreciate that. That's why we love doing this. Um, to all my new subscribers, to my OGs, man, thank you guys so much. I'm truly blessed that you want to come in and listen to this old hillbilly talk, and I appreciate it. And I don't know what next week's subject's going to be yet. No, honey, come on. Pain in my butt. Besides being, mauled by animals all the time. I don't know what next week's subject's going to be about. To my iHenyar readers, I've sent out an email. Let me know if that's an easier way for you to get the updates on the book. And until next time, everybody, peace, love, and blessings to you
Thank
all.
you.
Bye
Bye.
bye. Oh, Amy. Okay, I gotta put that up there. Thank you, Amy. I
Oh.
appreciate you, sweetheart. Bye bye, everybody. No,
Bye.
don't claw my chair.